What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Uproar, back at it again to discuss the latest and craziest updates in the One Piece story. We got so much to talk about here with Zoro, Marco, King, and more, so make sure to stay tuned for this one. If you do enjoy seeing these One Piece chapter reviews and want to keep them coming, the best thing you could do is channel the Pirate King within and smash that like button. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future One Piece videos. And while you wait for the next chapter to drop, feel free to check out my giant and growing One Piece playlist that includes exclusive videos on the Yonko, Warlords, and most recently all 9 Mythical Zone users and their powers explained. I think at least 3 of those Mythical Zones will probably surprise you. If they do, let me know in the comments. You can find all of these videos and more in the One Piece playlist. Link to that is in the description. Now without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. This chapter is called The Stars Take the Stage, a very hyped title, and yes, it might be referring to the All-Stars, but also to our crew stars as well. For now though, let's begin at the beginning. We get a quick synopsis of where we started this war and where we got to. It started with 5,400 samurai pirates versus 30,000 beast pirates, but thanks to our side doing well and Otama's Dango strategy, the disparity has shrunk big time. And the wide view is one thing, but very powerful and important individual figures have been taken out on the B side as well, namely the Flying Six members. With this chapter, things are really looking good for our side. Yes, we're told that there's 15 minutes remaining until the island reaches the capital, but the Flying Six are finished. Luffy is shown stuffed with food, meaning he's pretty much ready to go again for his next round with Kaido, and as we know, Zoro is going to join the fighting again soon with the help of medical science. We're on a roll, people. The only question is, how many more times will the tables turn, and how close are we chapter-wise to the end of this conflict? We jump to the castle interior 3rd floor, and by the way, I'm so glad we're told the position because I would not remember if we weren't. We join the ninja battle between Raizo and Fukurokuju. We get some comedic Naruto vibes during this battle as Raizo uses clone jutsu and Fuku fights with his earlobes. That's such a bizarre Oda way of fighting, and it is reminiscent to me of how Jiraiya uses his hair in battle in Naruto, but obviously earlobes are funnier. It's so funny how easy Fuku finds out who the real one is by simply saying he's clinging to a ghost, and then the real Raizo responds saying, "Are you talking about Oden-sama?" The earlobe strikes and Raizo gets earlobe whipped. I must say, these are probably the most OP earlobes I've ever seen. Fuku then tells Raizo that he wasn't suited to be a ninja because he wore his heart on his sleeves, while a ninja is supposed to be more stoic. But it looks like Fuku hasn't watched Naruto, or he would have realized that Raizo has his own ninja way. Believe it. Amid the humor though, we do get a great moment where Raizo says that the day of the execution, they all cried, laughed, and died alongside Oden. Thus, they're all ghosts, bent on fulfilling Oden's dream. I really like their code of honor and friendship. It's heartwarming and inspiring to see. We get shots of all the scabbards, some on the ground while others are still fighting. Raizo then mentions that it's not just out of duty that they are fighting, unlike Fuku. They fight because of that emotional bond that they had with Oden. So rather than a hindrance, emotions and bonds can be a source of motivation and power. Nothing groundbreaking here, especially for shonen anime, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Raizo goes on to say that it doesn't matter if they die, they have to see this through to the end, or they won't be able to rest. In other words, if they fail to try to carry out their mission, that would be worse than death to them, no matter if they got to keep their lives. I love to see these kinds of manly sentiments being shared. Finally, Raizo tells him that tonight will mark the end of the Orochi and Kaido reign, and there will be a brilliant dawn tomorrow with Momo as Shogun. And as we got from last chapter, Momo will probably be an adult by the morning, so it wouldn't be weird to see him take the role on at all. It's so crazy to consider that Luffy and friends may overcome a Yonko crew and even 2 individual Yonko, but things are definitely looking good right now, knock on wood, and Raizo's words are getting me even more pumped up. We also get to drop in on Killer versus Hawkins. It's clear that Killer's on the offensive and going through a bunch of Hawkins' so-called meat shields. He's exhausted by the thought of how many he still has. Thankfully, Hawkins says he doesn't have any left, but things take a very interesting turn when he says Killer should consider not how many are left, but whose life is currently standing in for the life of Hawkins. We then jump to Big Mom versus Law and Kid, another very hype matchup, and against the Yonko, they definitely need all of their faculties and luck too, but unfortunately, Hawkins was talking about Kid, and Kid starts noticing that something stabbed him. So yeah, now for Killer to beat Hawkins, it seems like he'll have to cut down Kid first, albeit indirectly. This makes Hawkins a very tricky fighter. Obviously, Killer would never kill Kid, so he may have to find a way to restrain Hawkins or find a workaround, otherwise Hawkins may take out Killer. And although Killer is definitely cool, he's enough of a side character for him to possibly be taken out right here, so you never know what's gonna happen. Things could have been much worse if Hawkins didn't finally admit that Kid is his current meat shield, but he's thinking about himself and wants Killer to agonize over fighting back. This is the best way to assure his own victory, while letting Killer kill Kid would not have been best for him necessarily, but it would have been the better move for the Beast Pirates as a whole. As far as side fights go, this is definitely an interesting one, and I look forward to seeing what happens and how it plays out. As Killer points out, Hawkins is twisted, and that works really well for an antagonist like him, not gonna lie. Then we get to the meat and potatoes of the chapter, if you will. We see an amazing panel of King and Queen absolutely towering over everyone else in the panel. People are begging Marco to help, and in a pretty crazy panel, he looks to be down for the count, as it's said that he's reached his limit. Interestingly enough, Oda did say in a question corner that Marco's regeneration has its limits, and I believe that simply means when his stamina runs out, he can't use the regeneration anymore. However, the question is if his stamina is at 0 right now or not. In the meantime, the All-Stars are unleashed, and people believe they're going to destroy the whole floor pretty soon. That's how crazy destructive they are. Sanji tells them to get Zoro out of the way. Obviously, he used the loving nickname Mosshead instead of Zoro, but there's no way that they'll actually be taking Zoro away from the battle. The reason Sanji said that is because it looked like the shot wasn't working. Zoro was still in excruciating pain. In fact, it's taking longer to take effect because he's in such bad shape. It's so crazy that he'll have to deal with double this pain afterwards, not to mention the pain he'll accumulate during the rest of the war. It's absolutely insane and such a Zoro situation to be in. I think we may have the makings for a moment that may really rival the famous Nothing Happened moment. As they're waiting for my boy Zoro the Legend to heal, Sanji continues to kick around Queen, and I love these matchups. I wasn't sure with Jinbei in the picture who Sanji would be fighting, but I'm glad it worked out like this. Interestingly enough, King is actually worried about Zoro and tells people to find him and finish him off because the Straw Hats are trying some weird healing method. He's very Machiavellian in the sense that he wants him dealt with before he recovers. He's not just thinking, oh, he's not a threat, I'll deal with him easily, which I respect. I like to see our Straw Hats being taken so seriously by such strong opponents. It shows how far we've come. In the meantime, Perospero is aiming at Sanji with an arrow. He's especially mad at him because he feels like if he married Pudding, then they never would have joined forces with the Beast Pirates. So it's not just business, but personal for Perospero. It's funny how he calls him a Germa reject, but even funnier how he gets smacked around by Nekomamushi, who has arrived to avenge Pedro. I really think that this Avenge Pedro storyline is hilarious. I wonder if this is just going to keep haunting Perospero wherever he goes for the rest of his life because Pedro decided to blow himself up. Then, just as it looks like Zoro is done for because the people carrying him are surrounded and King is right in front of them, Marco comes to the rescue. The Yonko commander hasn't in fact been taken out so easily, which is quite the relief. He successfully blocks King's Divine Flame attack with a smile on his face to boot. Then we get some interesting dialogue where Marco says he used to hear rumors about a certain fire conjuring race that lived on top of the Red Line, and calls King King of the Flames. But of course Marco won't be the one to fight him to the end because he's more here to assist rather than to hog the spotlight. As the All-Stars prepare to turn to Marco again, Marco says he gives and that he's done his part. I like this because A, Marco still comes off as a strong dude who wasn't defeated by King and Queen in a definitive way, and B, he's allowing our main guys to take the spotlight, namely Zoro, easily one of my favorite characters. Marco even says it's time for the stars to take stage as Zoro comes out of the bandages, and you know he adjusted his glasses while he was at it. I love the fact that in front of the All-Stars he pretty much called Zoro and the Straw Hats the true stars. Way back I think we all saw Zoro battling King, and I love to see it finally here. We get an amazing moment and panel where Zoro and Sanji attack together side by side, one kicking Queen and the other slicing King. We're told that the two wings are in action, which is hype for Sanji and Zoro, who both managed to keep their wing status in the evolving crew. And I just can't get over it. It's so great to see these two fighting together side by side against the All-Stars, no less, Kaido's two strongest fighters. The bystanders go crazy like me as they scream, the Straw Hats are amazing. And we get another great moment, and I know I keep saying that, but this chapter is full of them. Zoro says, "Hey curly brows, if we win this. And then Sanji interrupts him to finish the thought, saying, I know, it'll finally be in sight. Luffy becoming King of the Pirates. Goosebumps, people. This is so epic right now. It's making me want to cry tears of awesomeness. We have reached the climax of this arc where these two will take on the All-Stars, and Luffy is just about to meet up with Kaido again for the last time during this war. I could not have been more satisfied with this chapter. As always, let me know your thoughts about the chapter and what you're most looking forward to seeing next. Who was your MVP? I gotta go with my boy Zoro for taking the pain, for returning in such a spectacular fashion, and for cutting down King. I'm not saying King is down for long, but still, it was an epic panel. If I could pick two MVPs at once, if that's a thing, then the duo of Sanji and Zoro definitely gets it. Their dynamic and role in this chapter was just amazing. And that is it for this one. As always, thank you so much for joining me in discussing another amazing chapter. If you do enjoy seeing these One Piece chapter reviews and want to keep them coming, the best thing you could do is channel the Pirate King within and smash that like button. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future One Piece videos. Hitting the like button and subscribing is very Pirate King energy, while not doing so is very Orochi energy, just saying. And while you wait for the next chapter to drop, feel free to check out my giant and growing One Piece playlist that includes exclusive videos on the Yonko, Warlords, and most recently, all 9 Mythical Zone users and their powers explained. Like I said, at least 3 of those Mythical Zones will probably surprise you. Let me know if they do in the comments of that video. You can find all of these videos and more in my One Piece playlist. Link to that is in the description. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.